Hey everybody, Ray Byers Jr. here with Byers Roofing here in Nevada City, California, getting ready to get started. Removing an old original roof to this home and installing a new roof and all new solar. You know, a lot of times folks don't realize what kind of damage their roof is until we start tearing it off. We're here today replacing a roof that's done its job, but it's just past its prime and giving this home the protection it deserves. Quite a few things we look at when we're looking at a new roof is adequate ventilation. You can see we've got a vent here. This vent provides ventilation for the roof to exhaust the hot air that's inside the attic. Quite a few areas that we see issues with roofs is going to be down on these vents. You can see have dry rotted, which is causing leaks down inside the roof deck, into the attic, and into the living areas. We are back out here at this beautiful job in Nevada City. We have the load of roofing material. Particular client chose Duration Cool Plus. It's an Owens Corning shingle, great shingle. And the color that they chose is Cliffside Gray. And there's the color of the shingle. Titanium UDL 30 synthetic underlayment. This is quite different than what we tore off. This underlayment is synthetic. It's very nice and has a lot of traction for the crew when they're walking on it. It's also very hard to tear, so it's great when you're walking on it. You got a lot of foot traffic, you're not damaging it. In the wildland urban interface areas, you're also going to need to use a cap sheet underneath the valleys. And underneath our cap sheet is an ice and water shield. That ice and water shield is a sticky back membrane that adheres down prior to this cap sheet going on. The reason why we do that is we know that valleys, where we have transitions, they're notorious for potential leaks. Then we're gonna have our titanium underneath there. We're gonna have a metal valley pan inside here, and then our shingles will come in down on either side of that. We have a starter course going all the way around the perimeter. Underneath that starter course is our underlayment, as well as another ice and water shield all around the perimeter. And we do that as another line of defense to make sure that your home is protected. We're increasing ventilation on this roof. You can see we've cut in here for a ridge vent. Hot air can rise out of the attic, get good ventilation in that attic space so that it can breathe really well. And it's going to be covered by a ridge vent, which is right here, brought to us by our supplier, Beacon Supply, and it's going to ventilate through here. We're also going to cap that off with a Owens Corning hip and ridge shingle, color matched, that's already been formed at the factory, that's going to sit over the top. Folks don't realize the steps that goes into installation of a roof, but a lot of them are repeated over and over and over again. And that's what we are really good at, is making sure that those steps are followed properly. And we install to a higher level to make sure that we pass our spec. Our spec we feel is higher than the county. It's also higher than the manufacturer. Manufacturer doesn't ask us to do the cap sheet. Manufacturer doesn't ask us to do a lot of the things that we do. The county asks for the cap sheet in the wildland urban interface areas, but they don't ask for the ice and water shield. But in order for us to offer you a platinum warranty, we need to do a lot of these steps, and we need to do them at a high level. And again, that's really what we're good at. So yesterday we started this roof. We could get this roof off and on in one day, but why rush? No reason to rush a process. I'd much rather do it correctly, safely for our crew, and correctly for you as the consumer. We talked about how we cut in the ridge vent. So here's the ridge vent cut in. We're not just slapping a ridge vent over the top. We're also going to be installing this stainless steel mesh over the top of the ridge vent to protect from fire. So if fire embers, hot embers, ever try and get through, we've got a nice mesh screen to keep them from actually getting inside the attic space and igniting the wood that's in here. What other roofers doing that? We're also installing ice and water shield around the headlamps or the flashing details so that we can make sure that the pipes themselves are sealed really well. We also put in our mounts for a D-ring that'll be permanently mounted in here. We will be installing a solar array on this face and these other faces facing south. Taking off siding. The siding's gonna get redone at a later date by the homeowner whenever they do some more painting. But we take the siding off so that we can make sure that we flash everything properly. This is called an O'Hagan vent. O'Hagan vents are used to ventilate an attic space that doesn't have an area that we can ventilate with our ridge venting. All right, we are back out here in beautiful Nevada City taking a look at the roof. So this is day 3 of our install. Roof is all complete, starting the solar out here on this project. Our solar crew was actually out here on day 1 during the roof tear off to get inside the attic so we don't go through the house and start pre-wiring in the attic. We don't like to run wiring on the actual roof. It just doesn't look great. And it's a cause for failure over time. We've got all of our mounts installed. We use spaghetti mat so that we don't scar up the roof. So as we talked about the other day, we've got our ridge vent, we've got all of our flashings and D-rings installed where needed. O'Hagan vent is a great little vent where you don't have access to ridge vent. We did have access to ridge vent already here. However, the homeowner had a powered fan here that no longer works and hasn't worked for a lot of years. He opted for a static vent. We have another O'Hagan here. Again, that was where another powered fan was. Again, hasn't worked for a number of years. We've got great detail around our piping with collars. We like to use those types of collars so they're replaceable. The asphalt shingle is going to wear at a lot slower rate than rubber. By having a single source contractor, you get a contractor that actually gives a darn about the details and your roof. A couple things. One, using a ladder standoff. We don't want to damage any of the rain gutters that are currently up here. We've got foam underneath the ladder standoffs so we don't damage the roof. Iron Ridge rail that's mounted up here. The Iron Ridge rail is going to support the solar array, and then we've got in-phase microinverters here that are going to control the power coming off the solar panels. Those microinverters go into a solar deck that we run all of our wiring through the attic with. So we do have some shading over here on this side. Homeowner opted to go ahead and install some solar panels over here to get that early morning sunlight, get these panels coming in from this area, get that early morning sun so that we can get some solar access on there. And then he understood that they're going to get shaded out a little bit throughout the late afternoon, midday. On this side of the house, we've got our main service panel